Pro Group Racing presents Show Us Your Tips. Join Daggy and Beaver joining you for a midweek preview from Warwick Farm and Ballarat. Beaver, how did the last day of the Roundwick Carnival treat you?
Seems such a long time ago, mate. I can't really recall that many days back now. I think it was okay, mate. Caulfield was, I think, now thinking about it, was a bit of a disgrace again. The track, it's just really hard to bet there. They were winning without names at Caulfield. It's really hard to line the form up, really hard to line up how races would be run and played. Some horses that probably realised they needed to be forward went forward, but it just didn't suit the way they ran, and they ran accordingly. So it was a pretty tough day, I think, at Caulfield. Sydney wasn't too bad. There's some nice races and nice wins.
Yeah, it was. I thought they had kept the hoses away, and I think that became essentially rails in run was the place to be, which suited a few of ours. End of the day, managed to find the Quinella in the Group 1, the all-aged. Few races I missed, which were map orientated, but I was able to play throughout the day pretty well. But yeah, as you said, Caulfield and around the rest of the traps, a bit less enthusiastic throughout the day. We're heading now towards blacktop racing in the other states. Any thoughts on where you want to do in terms of a preview going forward? Do you want to focus on Queensland a little bit more, or?
Oh, look, mate, when the sort of more black type races, we'll do a little bit more form in some of those venues. It seems to be easier to line some of that form up against some of the autumn winter class horses that we're going to start now seeing.
Yeah, so I guess we'll play it by ear, and you'll get a preview twice a week every week. We might, but we could end up doing, especially around Stradbroke time out, definitely a Queensland preview, and then maybe a few bets around the rest of the country. But yeah, stay tuned, and our midweek one will tend to stick to Melbourne and Sydney, and potentially a bit more heading into the Warrnambool Carnival next week. But we'll see how that plays out over the weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Let's get to Warwick Farm for tomorrow, though, where the rail is true and it is a good track. No rain about, so should be pretty much standard Warwick Farm. Been pretty fair recently, so obviously if it gets real dry on pace is an advantage, but for now I've treated it as fair as we're going to get. So we kick off with 3-year-old Maiden over the 1,300 metres. Interesting little race. Did you have a thought in the first?
No, I didn't really have too much of a thought here, mate. They were all maidens. Quite hard to get a line on it. Probably the one I'm most interested in watching is Black Queen, the New Zealander. Having its first start here for the Waller stable with McDonald on board. Thought around the $5 marker, that was worth a look.
I actually like one here. I'm going to tip Sur Le Mer, coming off the Newcastle run where it should have won. Just got completely chopped out, and I like the way it picked itself back up again and hit the line. Just missing behind, who is it? Princess Elsa, was it? One of the Waller green and red horses.
Yeah, Pretty Elsa.
Pretty Elsa. The form behind it hasn't really stacked up with social distancing. Get beaten today at $1.30, but I thought the win was. I think it gets a nice enough run here again. Probably leaders back with Hugh Bowman going on, and was the one to beat for me. Interesting one at odds was number 6, Light Up My World, who just wasn't even in the race first up. Hit the line really well and trialled okay since, change of stable, but I've got Sur Le Mer on top. Didn't know what to make of the Black Queen trial. It was ridden out and sort of didn't really make a lot of ground. So month in between, maybe he's got that right. And they seem to be chasing, coming out fresh, these 3 and 4-year-olds for Wallen at the moment and winning. Race 2 for the 2-year-old fillies. Anything here?
Yeah, I did. I tipped Billiondollarbaby when it was scratched. I think it was last week, and I'm willing to back up again tomorrow and tip it again. I thought its first race start was a good one. Very good win to kick off its career at Canterbury. Expect it gets similar run here. Probably leads here. It's going to be super hard to run down. Trials before that were very good. Snowden Bowman connection, very hard to beat.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this whole meeting really is most of these races have the Hawkesbury form lead up from that midweek, and I've sort of lent on the side of just forgetting they went there because a lot of horses didn't perform to market expectation or didn't run that well. So I'm forgiving Hoover Lucy. I thought it was pretty good, and around $12 I'll have something on. But I agree with you. Billiondollarbaby was a good debut, and the horse that beat Port Louis was backed from 30s into $5 something on the weekend, and ran okay. And that's Group 1 form behind Halal and Captivant. So yeah, and it pretty much gave it a hiding, really. I know it had rails advantage at Canterbury, but again, Billiondollarbaby might be a nice horse. I mentioned Hoover Lucy, and I thought Steel Sheen trialled all right as well. So a couple of, if you're looking away from the top of the market there, but yeah, I'm with you there. We got the boys equivalent here over 1,100 meters for the 2-year-olds as well. Do you like anything here?
Yeah, another really tricky affair here. Again, wasn't overly keen on the race, but I did really like the trial of King High. It's ultra impressive at Randwick. I think it won by about 5 in its barrier trials. Ran pretty decent time. Before that, trialled okay, not overly pushed too hard in those trials. So could be ready for a good first up tilt.
Yeah, cool. I was really keen on Glen Eagles, who I've just seen has been scratched. So King High by default probably goes on top for me. So everything you've said there, I'll agree with and move on. I assume Glen Eagles might be on the way to Queensland in the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Race number 4, 1,000 meter benchmark 72. Bravado scratched for the next race. Anything here?
Yeah, I've gone for the move. I think it's an interesting move that they have brought it to Sydney. Its first 2 runs is prep. Haven't probably been as good as what I would have liked to see, but it's been in much better company than a race like this. So they trialled it again a couple of weeks ago, and it won that barrier trial very well at Doomben. Bringing it to Sydney is obviously, for me, is a bit of an interesting move, and James McDonald goes on board. So I think the horse has got a little bit of ability. Certainly showed it in previous campaigns. Hoping the switch down here makes a return to form and wins this one.
I didn't know what to make of it. I know you've got a better handle on the Queensland stuff than I do. I thought probably too short. I think you might get a better price tomorrow. But happy to follow.
Yeah, I think you might be right
there. I don't like tipping them off a year off, but I think Disruptor might be a decent horse. It basically a year ago won here pretty impressively, unbeaten at the track, and then it trialled okay off that big break a few weeks back, around $6. I thought was a reasonable bet in a race I didn't really like away from that. Key Largo's been impressive, but has had Rails Canterbury, and then Shadow Crusher's just sort of been plodding around. So I thought, yeah, I suppose I'm tipping a horse off a year off. That's probably why the move is favourite, because they're probably the 2 outside, I guess, the up and going form at the moment. Race number 5, benchmark 64 over 1,100 meters. I don't, not all that keen on a race. There's a few I might have something on right outside the market. One Canadian Spice. One is Canadian Spice, number 13, who was just given none at Newcastle. I thought it might have led at Newcastle and it went back to last. I think it can come from gate 1's going to go forward here, hopefully find a position, leaders back, and around 20-1. I'll have something on it. And Zelify finally broke through again. It was a horse had a bit of ability down in Melbourne sort of 6 months ago. Broke through at Kembla 2 weeks back. And again, if it can run on here, I'll probably want it further up a distance, but again, around 20-1. I'll have something small on it. Away from that, Resilient Star was pretty impressive, resuming at Hawkesbury, around $8. They're probably the 3 for me in a race I'm not going to play too big in. Were you closer to the market than me?
Yeah, I was. I leaning towards Falcon. I was a bit worried by the draw, so hopefully it does come in 1. Hopefully with a scratching or 2, it's going to come in to be a bit tighter. I'm just a bit worried of where it might get in running, and if it can get a bit of a sit. That was the only concern for me. I thought its trial last week was very good, and prior to that, when it resumed at Gosford, thought it stuck to its task really well, beaten by an okay horse in Salik. So I thought that was pretty good. And then prior to that, given a pretty soft trial back in early March, and it was in a trial with the likes of Kementari and Iurtha. So it could be the knockout chance here, about $3.50 plus. I think it's horse to follow.
Cool. Yeah, the trial was fantastic. Really nice trial. From gate 13, I assume it's just going to go forward. Sure, any further, it's not going to try and float about.
Has to.
Aussie. So, yeah, if it can find somewhere, outside lead or 1-1, I think, you've summed it up quite well. Race number 6, benchmark 78 for the girls over 1200. Benchmark 72, I should say, for the girls over 1200 meters. I don't particularly like the race. I, by default, sort of just put Willowheart on top. Found a leader. It was just grabbed on the line at Canterbury by Grand Rumar, who a friend of the show actually has a share in, Steve Chester, who I believe is going to the group race at Hawkesbury on Saturday. So, and was a pretty impressive win there. Just by default, I think you get control here, and they've got to get past it. Beyond that, I'm not all that keen in the race. Did you like anything?
Yeah, I like Straub resuming. Again, James McDonald, I think, might have a decent day tomorrow. Straub, when it resumed last preparation, wasn't the best.
Just doesn't win
run, but it
keeps getting spooked and missing. But I know what you're saying.
Wins barrier trials.
Yeah, it's handy.
Which is a bit of a worry, but it was last time first up. It was against Great News and started favourite in that race. Great News won Enchanted Heart, Miss Einstein. Then it did run a couple of nice seconds against some decent horses, Brutality, Ulysses, and then was put out after a pretty ordinary run at Randwick. But it's got form against better quality horses than this. If it's ready to go, but you're right, it doesn't win that often, but I'm not sure many of these do.
Yeah, that's true.
So, look, I'm hoping Straub can come down the middle of the track and worth a crack.
Let's wrap up the day at Warwick Farm over the mile, another 72. I'm going to give Mighty Beale another chance. It, went to Hawkesbury. It was all a bit. It chased, had to chase a long way out, and the leader was off and gone. But its best win was over this distance, over the mile, where it smashed him at Canterbury one day. Hopefully, inside gate here can posse up along the fence again. J-Mac. Last chance for me. If it wins this, I assume the plan was to go up north somewhere, but I think it's got to win here. So Mighty Beale on top. From what did I say here? Yeah, Shibley, it was heavily backed last time at Canterbury and just never really got going till late. So the 2 Waller horses in the last, it's a little bit Chris Waller tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. He does train a lot of winners. How are you finishing today?
Yeah, Shibley for me, mate. As you said, it was very well backed last start. I thought the run was good, hit the line really well late. Gets up to 50 metres, but it's on the quick back up. Yep. So I think it might have needed that run. Has the overseas form coming here. Look, I think it's prior to that, its first up run was very good over the unsuitable 1200, finished less than a length behind Epic Dan. Well weighted in a race like this, and third up looks ready to produce its best. So I expect Shibley to be really hard to beat.
I think away from Canterbury will help too. Just feels that way.
Yep.
Cool. For Pro Group Racing, check out them for their free tips and extensive guides as well. Your best and value at Warwick Farm tomorrow.
Yeah, my best bet comes up in race 2, number 1, Billiondollarbaby.
Mm-hmm.
And my value bet comes up in race 7, number 9, Shibley.
I've lost Glen Eagles, so I'll make my best Sur Le Mer race 1, number 5. And my value, I'll make it the 2 Waller ones in race 5, Canadian Spice and Zellify, both in the 20s. Small each way play there is value for the day. Let's head down to Ballarat, where it is a reduced card and not the most exciting meeting we've done again, but as we've said, we tend to pick the eyes out of these pretty well. Rail, where is the rail? Here. Rail is in the 4 metre mark from the 2200 to the 800. True for the remainder. Currently soft. Some cool weather around, but should get to reasonable racing surface there. Just, I guess we'll be watching for any inside bias, but Ballarat's generally okay. Kick off with a 3-year-old maiden. Do you like anything in this 3-year-old maiden?
No, nothing for me there, mate.
By default, I'm going to tip the leader under Will Price. Its last win, first time out to the mile, was pretty good, just missing. Uniquely, this is race 1, number 11. It should lead here, and I guess is the one they've got to run past. So we'll start off that way. Where are you going to kick off your day down south?
Yeah, in the second, mate, I've come up with number 6, Winter Pinter. First starter from the Thornton stable. Given a pretty soft time of it in a trial at Terang. Reasonable wraps on this has been well backed in the market here in a pretty skinny affair. Looks the pick of the 3 main chances in this.
Cool. What about race 3? We've got a short price Mick Price horse. You with it?
Yep. Yeah, I think it'll be hard to beat as well, mate. Another first starter.
Yep. That is, as my screen disappears, that is Bengal Bandit. Race number 4. A couple of good little races interesting little races to get through the rest of the day. 1200 meter benchmark 70. The market's probably right with the top 2 in the market there, Corner Pocket and Natural. The one just away from them, though, is Gennady, who came back with a pretty nice win first up. Times weren't great, but reeled him in stylishly. And around a $9.50, $10 mark would be my each-way play here under Mickey D. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, it was a good win, that Gennady last start. It absolutely flew home. Super hard to beat.
Yeah,
I did have a liking for Wilmot Pass. I think it did enough on last run. This is a really big class drop. It was less than 2 lengths behind Lil Contra in the Saturday class race.
And Superior.
Prior to that, last prep. And Superior, yeah, your old mate. Previous preparation wasn't far off the likes of I Did It for Love. So I think Wilmot Pass with the 3 kilo claim gets in here at the weights quite well. Drawn a bit wide, but that shouldn't hurt as long as they can get a little bit of cover. And I also thought Chief Altony was also a sort of backup play here. I'll probably back both of these. I think probably looking for a little bit further. But if the speed's on and they're finishing on, it'll be finishing quite hard. Had some good form back last preparation as well. Beat the likes of Hasseltoff, which is not bad form for a race like this.
Beautiful. The Class 1 race 5, 1100 meters. Anything?
Hang on a sec, mate.
No, you're right. I'll put down Don't Doubt Nick on top. Nice maiden win at Bendigo. Pretty much trolled and bolted in. I think around the $8 mark can pretty much get a similar setup here and be similarly hard to run down. Yeah, I like it on top for me at the each way. Not a lot to add. Obviously, Audacious Heart respected there, but I think the form kind of stood up as much.
I thought the same. I thought third up. Don't Doubt Nick. I thought it was a really good win last start. I thought it and Bossy Chloe represented far greater value around the $6 and $7 mark compared to the $2.30 Audacious Heart. So you could be playing on both of those and splitting your bet there to knock off the favourites. Yeah, tend to agree with you there.
Good stuff. Race 6 is the 1400 meter benchmark 64. A couple from your old mate Paulie Pruska in here. Do you like either of them, or you're looking elsewhere?
Yeah, I think Cheeky Peaky is going to be hard to beat again. around the $7 mark. It's going fantastic, this preparation. It's been in the money in the last 5 starts. No reason it won't be in the money again. So definitely a good each way bet.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if there were no excuses for excuses last time, but if you can forgive that, just flying before that, and with the claim for Tatum Bull, I'm guessing goes forward here, and might be the one to run down. So probably a small each way on both the Pruska horses here. I might be falling into your trap of just falling in love, but you can train. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's it. It's only 1,400, but I prefer his
run that
status.
mile. Yeah, true. And we'll finish off with the 70 over the mile. Got anything to finish the day for us?
Yeah, I think Under My Spell looks very hard to beat in the last. Was very good, fresh. Fought really hard at Sandown, only to go down narrowly to Zoosonic in a pretty tough affair. Prior to that, ran again in some really decent races back in Morphettville almost 12 months ago now. So I think it's got a bit of ability, and based on its first up run, if it can improve slightly on that, should be winning this.
Yeah, the market's right. The two at the top of the market, the two to beat. Smoking Roman's been flying with since they put the blinkers on, and I thought Under My Spell was good as well. And good luck to Nigel Blackiston, who had a track work fall yesterday, I believe, and was doing it pretty tough. So I guess fingers crossed that he can have a winner to help him get through there as well. Your best.
Yeah, I just thought Under My Spell. I just thought Under My Spell with the 4 kilo pulling the weights and the better barrier draw there might be the way to go.
Yep.
And for that reason, I've made Under My Spell my best bet of the day.
Yep.
So race 7, number 13. And my value bet of the day comes up in race 4, number 1, Wilmot Pass.
I'll make my best. I'm going to make it uniquely without a great deal of confidence. Around a $2.70 in the first. I think it'll lead in a race of no chasers. I make my value Don't Doubt Nick, and actually just gave thought to making it my best. The more I think about it, I'm pretty keen on it now. I think you've reassured my confidence there. So my value for the day, Don't Doubt Nick in race 3. Anything up north?
Yeah, I've got a couple up north, way up north in Toowoomba.
All right.
So that's where they are tomorrow.
Yep.
Race 4, number 9, I Am Superior. Looks hard to beat. Should be running on. Race 6, number 10, Better Get Ready. Some nice little value there. And then to finish off the day in race 8, number 8, Diz to 1.
Oh, yeah, nice horse, Diz to 1. Unfortunately, not nice enough to win for me last time, but is what it is. Very good. Thank you, Beaver, as always. We'll be back on Thursday night to have a look at, have a look at Hawkesbury, which I said I'd barred, so I might stick to that. The Queensland Guineas at Eagle Farm, and we got Ladbrokes, and we got Group 1 racing in Adelaide. So we might be all around the country there. We'll have a chat and maybe do a couple of quarters around the country instead of some full cards. But anyway, Beaver, I'll let you go. Good luck tomorrow and catch you Thursday.
Cheers, mate.